The Celtics have just signed this potential gem, an absolute stud, to a two-way contract. Before we get started and talking about this player and what he brings to the table and what he has done during Summer League this year, I just want to say subscribe to Celtics Digest for everything about our Boston Celtics. I'm your host, Godfrey Sympre, and let's get started. Now, the big thing I want to talk about is that the Celtics have signed second round draft pick from this year, Anton Watson. Man, I'm super excited to talk to you guys about this and what he has brought to the table during Summer League. He had a pretty phenomenal Summer League for anyone to say. I think he was definitely showing out that he's better than a second round draft pick and brings more to the table than most people have thought. From this tweet from Adam Himmelsbach, according to a leaked source, the Celtics are signing second round draft pick Anton Watson to a two-way contract. So, a two-way contract he's gonna be able to spend time with the main Celtics and with the actual NBA team, the Boston Celtics, during his time in the next year. He played through Summer League without a contract, not knowing what was gonna happen, and I'm surprised that he played as well as he did. He was able to show he averaged 11.8 points, 5.2 rebounds, and 1 assist in 24 minutes per game. He shot 51% from the field and shot 85% from the free throw line. His 3-point stats weren't shown, but he was shooting it with consistency and shooting it with a purpose. We knew when he was drafted out of Gonzaga, he wasn't a player that was really shooting it a lot, but seeing that he was shooting it more and having that confidence in his game to shoot it was something that was very hopeful and very exciting from my point of view. He's a 6'8 forward, 6'8 wing type player. He definitely, in my opinion, could be a future Al Horford replacement, maybe. I definitely see the potential from him. He was playing very well during the Summer League, and I think that's something that I didn't expect. A lot of other people didn't expect, but it was a great sight to see. Now, another thing I want to bring up is he looked good, especially on the defensive end. DJ McLay said this: "What sticks out is the defensive versatility and the strength and the strength physically to observe drives, stay between the man and the rim without fouling. It's a unique skill set, and he has the potential to be a really unique defender for us." With a little bit of molding and sculpting, I definitely think he could be a future provider to the Celtics team. I know he needs to become a more consistent offensive player, but when you're a team playing with the Jays and other great offensive players that can get up their shot, like a Derrick White, maybe Sam Hauser, who's obviously a great 3-point shooter, you can obviously stay behind, like doing the low things, just making sure you're playing defense, playing great defense, playing your man correctly, and just doing the little things in a big role. I know Anton Watson's probably not going to play as much, or he's probably going to be the 12th, 10th, 11th man on the team in this next year, but definitely in future years, I definitely see him making his role and having a big role on the team. He's definitely someone that can provide the defensive switchability in a positionless basketball that we've seen Joe Mazzulla play in future and past years and future years coming into this year and next year. But I definitely think that he's going to be able to bring that type of basketball IQ, defensive IQ that is needed to play on a Celtics team. Now, to come into my next point that I wanted to talk to you guys about is we now have our 3 two-way rostered players all lined up and all on the team. So we have JD Davidson, Drew Peterson, and Anton Watson. I know there was a report talking about we signed Jay Scrubb, but that hasn't made anywhere official on any of the Celtics pages. So we don't know whether or not it is a two-way contract or Exhibit 10 contract or maybe a roster spot, but we have no idea what is happening with Jay Scrubb and with whether or not he's on the team or has a major part or role with the team in the future. With that being said, we have these players, Drew Peterson, who did play occasionally, didn't play the last couple of games in Summer League, and we had JD Davidson, who's been really trying to improve his mark and make a mark in the league, but has been playing well, in the G League and Summer League with the addition of Anton Watson, which brings up a very great these three great developmental pieces that could maybe make a mark on with the Celtics in the future. Obviously, we don't know whether or not a player like JD is going to stay past this year, because we know this is his last chance to be on a two-way contract, and we don't know whether or not Drew Peterson is going to stick. But I definitely know Anton Watson is going to be a player that can definitely stick for either this year and next year, maybe a potential third year, because he definitely has that room to grow. And if he sets out himself to play that Al Horford type role on the wing, just shooting well from the corner, making those defensive plays that are needed from a wing type player, wing big forward type player, I definitely see him carving out a role. Now, bringing up my next part is that it's surprising that he was able to do what he did, because he didn't have a contract and he's one of the older players in the league. We know if he stays another 2 years, he's going to be 26. So it's definitely important to see how he's going to mature and continue to mature, continuing with the seasons going on and on. He's going to be 24 in October, and he already has a interesting skill set already that I think is going to be something that's going to be very useful, not for just now, but definitely the future. Having those old players that are already mentally there and physically there is important. So I definitely know that he's going to be able to bring in that presence that is going to be already felt from day one coming into training camp and other things like that, with the season just about to start in a couple of months. Now, my last point today for you guys is last roster spot flexibility. We don't necessarily know what's going to happen with Jay Scrub, what's going to happen with our last roster spot, but I do know Brad Stevens loves to carry that extra spot depending on what's going to happen. So whether or not we sign someone, in free agency to a vet min, or, we just carry on that spot depending on what could happen, it's definitely this iffy point where we don't know. I could tell you Brad does like to keep that extra roster spot open, and it's a possibility that it will just stay open because, a lot of teams, they don't really run deep into their bench as the season progresses. They very much like to shorten their rosters, and I definitely think that's a thing that Joe Mazzulla likes to do. So I definitely think it may be a possibility that we sign someone, but I definitely also think that we could just run this 14-man roster with our 3 two-way contracts and just go win another championship. But the main thing to talk about today is Anton Watson signed a 2-way contract with us. He's going to be on our team playing with the Maine Celtics and the Boston Celtics this year, and everyone's super excited. I'm super excited to see how he can continue becoming a better player with the Celtics developmental staff, from playing very well in the summer league and showing off that he's a great player and someone that can very much continue to improve with the Celtics staff, and just showing that he can be potentially a future Al Horford replacement or even better. Man, I'm your host, Godfrey Sympre. Thank you guys for watching this video. Super excited to see what Anton Watson can do with us. And without further ado, guys, have a good one. I'm out.